How will we measure success? When will we review it? If no one owns the next step, you didn't actually make a decision. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD podcast, we are building on making decisions. Once you make a decision, is it really a decision if you haven't implemented it yet? The answer is no. Let me tell you why and how to implement, execute, and evaluate your strategy. We have the closing thought of the episode. This is the Ultimate OD podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD podcast. Thank you for the likes, the listens, all the messages that you guys are sending me. We got listenership is up. Give us a like, smash that follow button, subscribe. I don't know what's going on, but check out the YouTube channel if you want to see my smiling face giving the same podcast. It's great. Man, 2026. Been a good year for me. In September, if you guys are going to Eye Care Boss, I will be speaking about, surprise, surprise, what it means to be the CEO of your practice. I've learned a lot over the past year. Share it all with you every single week on this podcast. I'm going to give you more today, but I'm excited about that. I love speaking, collaborating, interacting more with practice owners that are like myself, trying to get better, trying to have better businesses. I myself have been going through a lot here of trying to make better decisions. And today we're going to talk about what happens once you make that decision. All right. Last episode, check it out. We talked about how to make decisions as the CEO and not as the owner. Today, we're going to go through with the next step. You've made a decision. What do you do now? And one of the things that has happened in my mind is that as I've gotten better, I've started looking at the forest, not just the trees. When I'm looking at the chessboard, if you will, of optometry, not just the pawns, the queens, the pieces, but the board. Where's everyone else positioned? How do I make a move to get here? Checkmate in 7 moves. All right, I'm thinking that far ahead. Next steps. So I'm speaking today with the mindset that we've already seen the whole board and we've made a decision. That's just the beginning, my friends. I talk to so many different practice owners, and one of the things I hear consistently, my staff won't buy into this. All right, they won't buy in. They're resistant to change. We tried it, it didn't work. Nobody takes ownership. Everything falls back on me. Now, I agree. Sometimes staff resistance is real. They're going to push back. They like how things have been. I push back a little bit and say that's a culture thing that you created. You don't have to fight that from the inside. But sometimes it's not the staff's fault. You have a good culture. It's that the initiative was never properly implemented. Doctor has an idea. They mention it at a meeting, assigns it to someone, office manager, you go run with this. Then I go back to clinic, see my patients. Right? I told them about it, put someone in charge, and 2 weeks later, the idea is fading, it's not happening, and I just think, my team never follows through on anything. But it wasn't that they didn't follow through, it's that leadership, me, didn't build the conditions for success. It's not that staff failed to buy in, it's that leadership didn't build the path to get them there. Many times in my past, that's happened. I've had a huge, great initiative, big meeting, announce it, and it just fades away. That was just Dr. Lily's motivating moment, right? And that's the thing, is that an idea that you have is not an initiative. We're going to improve handoffs. That's an idea. We're going to do dry eye. That's an idea. I want to create a better patient experience. Still an idea. An initiative requires clear answers. Marty Carroll, the OG of optometry for me, love the man, said, don't make a change if you're not willing to see it through. Okay? That's what an initiative, and that is what an initiative is. You need to answer these questions for you and the staff. Why are we doing this? What exactly will change? Who owns it? What authority does the person owning it have? What resources do they need? How are we going to train it? How will we measure success? When will we review it? If no one owns the next step, you didn't actually make a decision. Ugh, hit me in the face, right? This is what we're going to do. All right, let's touch back in a week. All right. And leave it at that. I've done that a million times. Not great. And then if I delegate, like my office manager right now, I'm like, hey, we need more depth in our RDAC, Rejuvenation Dry Eye Center. Gave it to her, but have I given her the resources to make it happen? Right? By doing that, it's not really managing or coaching or helping, it's abandonment. Right? We delegate outcomes, but we don't give the people that we delegate to the means to achieve it. Fix the schedule. All right? But I don't give decision-making authority, time outside daily operations to do it, data, support, training, permission to change a process. Just fix the schedule. You tell an employee, we're going to build a dry eye clinic. I need you to help me out with this. But they don't have a budget. They don't know the workflow. There's no marketing. Their time isn't protected to work on it. And they don't know what success looks like. And then me as a doctor, I'm disappointed when the manager's not getting the results or the staff members not creating that dry eye program that they were so passionate about. Well, I didn't really help them out, did I? Remember, delegating without resources is abandonment. And resources don't always mean money. 9 out of 10 times at my office, the biggest resource needed is time. And what do I do with the time? I fill the schedule crazy like. I can't be in the office and not be seeing patients, right? Stack that schedule. An hour lunch break, I have time. I don't need to eat. Fill it up. And I'm crushing my staff in terms of the ability to train and grow. Right? Authority, the ability to make a decision, make a change. Coaching, those are resources. Information, technology, staffing. Do you have enough staff to do what you want to do in optical? What's the priority here? You gave me 5 different things that you delegated. What one do you want done first? And then access to me. Hey, I want you to do this, and they need to talk to me, and I'm not available. As I wrote this, I'm like, yeah, I've done that before. I can think of many a situation. I've got the thing I withhold from my team the most to allow them to grow and make changes is time. Because if we're not seeing patients 24/7, the time we're open for clinic, what are we doing? What are we doing? That's how we make revenue, guys. But they need time to grow. They need time to train. All right. So there's a 4-step method that I kind of that I've kind of started instituting, right? And I want you guys to be aware of it. You can put your own framework on this. But number 1, you decide, all right? What outcome are we trying to create? That's a huge thing to answer. You're making a decision. What are you trying to accomplish? How many times have you made a decision and really you don't even know why you made it? It's time to make a change. What are you trying to accomplish? Needs to be clear. Why does it matter? I talked about listened to a couple, lectures, podcasts, etc., that talk about so many people are trying to utilize AI and they want to automate things, but they're automating things that don't matter. Like things that aren't their bottleneck. Yeah, it's automated now, but are you getting closer to getting more patients on your schedule? No. Then what's the purpose of that? Why did you make that change? Why does it matter? And then when you do make a decision, comes down to opportunity cost. What are you deciding that you're not going to do? You got to be able to answer that because that's a huge thing. So you got to make that decision, answer those questions. Then you deploy, decide, then deploy. Who owns implementation? Is it me? Is it the manager, staff? What support do they need? Have they given you the things that they need? right? You tell them you got it. Okay, you good? What do you need? I don't know. I'll get back to you. And they never get back to you. Once you decide and you deploy it, what does success look like in daily behavior? Like, we want better handoffs. What does that look like? What do you want from that? All right. And then you got to measure. Big thing here. You've made the decision. You've deployed it. It's being implemented. How do you know if it's working? How will we know if it's taking hold? What are leading and lagging indicators that you can measure? Like handoff sheets. Are the doctors in your office, are they using the handoff sheets? When you look at the handoff sheets, are they generic and the same thing every single time? Or are they customizing it for the patient that is in their chair? And then once you measure, once you get that feedback, you have to adjust. What have we learned? Do we need more training? Do we need a better process? Do we need more time? Do we need a different strategy? Our jobs as the CEO is not to protect the original decision. Don't be afraid of failing. Our job is to protect the desired outcome, right? Who gives a crap about the decision? Are you getting the outcome you want? If not, that's what you're steering the ship towards, the outcome. Think about that. How many times are you so dogmatic in how you want things done that you're not looking at the outcome it's producing, and you're just dying on that ship, dying on that hill? Leading and lagging indicators. Those are huge. Those are crucial. One of the biggest leading indicators that I look at on a daily basis is our exam only rate. If our exam only rate is lower, we had a good day. Things are working. An exam only rate is, did a patient make a purchase of glasses, frames, lenses, or contacts that day? That's an exam only rate. That's a leading indicator. That will tell me what revenue is going to be, which is a lagging indicator. If you only look at revenue, that's after the fact. That's not changing the behaviors that were leading to it, right? So leading indicators. Was training completed? Are doctors using the scripts? Are front desk and technicians using the scripts that you've created? Handoffs are occurring. Are the follow-up meetings happening? Are your schedule protocols being followed correctly? Is your staff doing the new system that you implemented, or are they reverting back to old habits? Are your managers, are your team leads upholding your standard, or are they letting things lag? Right? Those are leading indicators. That tells you that implementation is happening. Now, lagging indicators are what you look at to find out the results. Are the results happening? These are the things that we classically look at: revenue, capture rates, wait time, retention, production, patient satisfaction, your referral volume. If you can't define success before you begin, you're going to let emotion dictate whether you think it worked or not. Right? It felt good. Staff seems happy they're doing it. What does success look like? At the end of this year, we have seen 24 myopia management consults, 15 sclerals in the month of January. I don't know. You give the metric of success. But if you said, hey, you know what? I fit a lot of lenses. I feel like I'm doing great on sclerals, but no one's buying. Is that success? No. You need to pivot. You need to adjust. Something's not right in the system. And then you got to make the decision. Did your strategy fail, or did the implementation fail? Think about that. When results are disappointing, you have three possibilities. Okay? Number one was implementation pain. That didn't work out. Execution didn't follow through, or the strategy was wrong. So implementation failure. You got to remember that when you make a change, people are going to be learning. There's a curve to this. You may see a momentary or initial decline in your production. Did you plan for that? Acknowledge that that's going to happen. But if you never get out of that lag, you got to pivot. But we made a change beginning of the year where we're doing photos that are required on like certain patients, right? We had a few patients that weren't going to do it. They're like, yeah, peace out. But after the first initial rollout, smooth and easy, no pushback. People know what to expect from us. There's a little implementation pain, but we worked on educating on the importance of the photos, what we're going to see, and it got better. Patients are accepting of it. It's not just, yeah, it's a photo. Retinal imaging allows us to see the health of the back of the eye, can give us a baseline for where your health is going to go over the years. The doctors feel it's necessary because X, Y, and Z. We got better at the implementation. Now, execution failure. Your strategy may be sound, but you had poor training. In that same example, half the staff didn't know that we're using retinal imaging, not photos. They weren't explaining it. All right. Who was in charge of training the staff was unclear, so it didn't happen. Right? Execution didn't work. You didn't give them enough time, so resources weren't adequate. Or they got a little pushback, accountability disappeared, and people just started doing what they wanted because the person in charge didn't like the smoke. Or you made it too complicated. There's like 15 steps to check out a patient. I've done that before. Hey, got a bunch of new initiatives, and now we're not even talking about glasses until 30 minutes after they've made the pre-appointment, they've talked about the supplements, they've done all the other things except get them their glasses, and the patients are like, I'm out. Right? Have you looked at how complicated you make things? And then strategic failure. That's you implemented it well, they got time, and it still failed. It didn't produce the expected result. At that point, the core idea might need to change. So don't abandon good strategy because you have bad execution. My staff just won't buy in. Really? Or did you execute poorly? But don't defend a weak strategy just because you came up with the idea and you really want it to work. Like, that's just bad business. Don't be married to an idea. Be married to the result you want to see. And what I think happens is we pivot too soon, right? We tried it, it didn't work. Okay, think about the things I just talked about. What in the process failed? Was it really that bad of a strategy, or was implementation and execution the issue? And I know I've been there. We get a little pushback from staff. They give you a little like, oh, if I keep doing this, Jenny might not stay here. She doesn't like that. We have to talk about pricing. Oh, Jenny, that's what we're gonna do. This might not be the best fit for you, right? You get a little pushback, discomfort. Staff starts asking questions, or the schedule becomes a little harder to fill. One employee complains, you know the drill. The first week isn't smooth. When we put in a new camera, I told the staff, hey, there's going to be hiccups. We had a bad first day. And I said, hey, just keep seeing it through. By the end of the first day, we were so much better. Haven't had a hiccup since. Right? But you get a little bit of pushback and you're like, not worth it. Let's just go back to the way we're doing it. Less friction. Everyone's happy and you move on with your life and you have the same practice you had 10 years ago. And you're wondering why you're not happy, why you're not achieving the goals that you want. Change creates friction. Remember, the road to success and failure are often the same. It's just that failure has an earlier exit. Sometimes you got to keep driving. And we, as the CEOs of our practice, just have to know when that discomfort is part of the adaptation, not evidence of failure. Have faith, have confidence. Have those metrics in place to know if you're moving in the right direction. Give yourself a timeline. And I don't think this is usually the case when you do a new idea, but for the things that you've always done, why do we pivot too late? I think 99 out of 100 times is because it's what the owner wants. It's my idea. I put in the money. I announce this to all the staff. If I take it back, it looks like I failed. When you change direction, when you pivot, It's showing that something wasn't working. And a lot of times it's the initiative that you rolled out, and it's really hard to admit defeat. If they see me give up on this, they're not going to see anything through. Remember, we're in charge of the outcome of the company. We don't need to be proven right. We need the organization, the company to be successful. You get the right results. That's what matters. Changing your mind because new evidence has come to your, consciousness, awareness, isn't weakness, it's leadership. A pilot's flying, he gets new information, he might land quicker, he might pivot his flight plan. Who cares that you planned this is how it's going to go? You're running, the left engine's out. We need to divert left and land immediately. But no, I said I was going to do this. Gotta see it through. I told all my mastermind group, I'm going to be the best here. I'm going to do this. Well, if I pivot, they're going to think I'm a failure or that I don't follow through with what I said. One, they'll have your back. They understand business. But two, they don't really care that much. Just get them to where they want to go. Get them the results you're looking for. And one of the key things I think that we need to remember in this implementation process is that people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. You have got to continue giving the message. You can't say, I announced it, so why isn't it happening? You announced it in January. You talked about it for the whole 2025. They're just starting to hear it in January of 26. Don't stop communicating. Don't stop banging on that drum. Call it out when you see it. Make it resonate with them. One of the things that we do now is when a patient comes in, we wave. Hi. Day one, hey, we're going to do this now. Wave and smile. Tuesday came, I asked how many people did it. In a handful. Not everyone. Wednesday came. Still not everyone. And I said, all right, here's the deal. Every single one of you waves. If not, we're going to have an issue. We haven't had an issue since. Gave you some time. You're not going to wave. What else are you not going to do? See it through. If you mention something and you never mention again, staff is being trained that this too shall pass. Just write out long enough and he's going to forget about it. If every week shows up and you have a new priority, we're doing dry eye this week. We're doing myopia management this week. All right, next week we're going to go back to dry, but a little bit different. They're just going to be like, just wait. What's the flavor of the month? Flavor of the week? They know that you're just going to move on. Why would they commit? But buy-in happens when they see the owner and the management return to the initiative. This is what we said we're going to do. This is how we're doing. This is what our numbers say. Where do you need support? How do I make you better at, farming? So when you're on the phone asking for multiple patients, or if there's anyone else in the house that needs an appointment. Are you guys doing that? We're listening. Well, let's make sure it's happening. We're tracking it, calling it out. Hey, you had 4 of those this month. Great job. You can't do it because you weren't getting time to be on. Let me get you time to be on the phones. Keep reinforcing that outcome that you want. This is to be better for the patient. Remember that your team will never, ever, not once, commit to an initiative more than you commit to it. And if you're going to give up after 6 months, if you're going to give up after a year, so are they. I swear I've been beating this dry eye drum for 5 years now. Right? They just keep hearing from me, and they know it's what we do. Follow through from leadership shows the staff what matters. So I want you, as CEOs of your practice, think about one of the things that you tried to initiate that the staff didn't support. And ask yourself, did I really explain why it matters? Did I clearly define the change that we were going to make? Did just one person own it? Did I give it to nobody? Multiple people? Did the person that I gave authority to have enough power to make a change? Did I provide time for training, resources? Did you agree on how to measure success? Did I stay actively involved after they started implementing it? Or did I go on to the next big thing? Have you been able to see the failure for what it is? Implementation and execution, or actual bad strategy? Remember last episode, we talked about as a CEO, we have to see the whole board. That's how you make a very good decision. Not the best, not perfect, not all the information, but the best decision with the information you've been given. But today you've made the decision. Did you build the path? Did you measure the progress? Did you stay engaged long enough for it to stick? The decisions we make that matter aren't because we announce it so confidently in a big show of presentation, right? It's defined by how completely we implement it, how honestly we measure it, and how intelligently we adjust to the information we've been given. The last episode was about judgment. Are we making the right decision? Remember the framework: results, energy, capacity, opportunity cost, scalability, and alignment. Today is about execution. A decision is not made until it's implemented. Are we giving the decision a real chance to succeed? You decided, you deployed, you measured, and you adjusted. Seeing the whole board helps us make better decisions, but make the decision is only the beginning. Today, we talked about why that decision that you made, even though it's the best possible idea, can still fail, and how it's not actually a decision until you go through and implement it properly, execute it to the best of its ability, and measure the results. Then you are operating like a true CEO of your business. That's what I have. We'll have more for you next week. Where has the time gone? We are to the closing thought of the episode, and you have to role model resiliency. It's not about faking it. It's about believing that you're going to get there. At the end of the day, it comes down to belief. And belief comes before ability. Remember that. Just keep showing up. Keep working towards those goals. Never let great be the enemy of good. Action is better than inaction. A intelligent person's best way of procrastinating is to want more information, want more knowledge. Studying is not how you make big things happen. I've talked a lot today. Take it all in, apply it to your business. Dr. Lily out.